Oh, yeah, boys. Oh, man, I had some fucking baritone in that one, my friends. How we all doing today? How are we all doing today? Holy fuck, you guys are lighting up the goddamn chat already. That is what I am talking about. Cool. I just got a notification that I was live from YouTube. That's a good sign. Hopefully they've ended their fucking dystopian regime against my channel. Probably not. Wishful thinking, huh? Good old wishful thinking, my friends. Anyway, what's happening, everybody? How are we doing today? Today is Friday, and I have a tremendous show for you. Let me get my supplements ready right now since, that's what I do. It reminds me I got to take my supplements at this point in time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have not worked out yet today, guys. I've just done a couple burpees and a couple pull-ups, especially since I've kind of started smoking this silly little vape thing. I'm like, shit, I just want to make sure my lungs are fucking operating at full fucking tilt. And I'm trying to get shredded AF, so I might as well add some burpees in there since I can't go and do the stair step or anything like that. The thing about burpees, though, I'll tell you what, I did shit. I think it was a little while ago. I did like a full month of I think I did at least 100 burpees a day and at least 50 pull-ups, and my back just got fucking like pounded, like not in a good way. So just for those of you guys that are looking to kind of do that, mimic that kind of style, just be careful. That's a lot of back that you're putting strain on. Doing 50 pull-ups a day is a lot of pull-ups to do in a day, by the way. So I highly recommend you do that. I don't think that you should do it every single day. I'd say maybe like an every other day routine kind of deal. So I'm probably going to do burpees one day in order to kind of get the HIIT type of aspect mixed with some pull-ups just to get a good stretch in and add to some back and some posterior stuff. And then probably the bike the next day. And mainly because, like I said, the bike is good, but it's not the greatest. It's good to have here to get the blood flow and all that other shit. It's just not really that good for conditioning. Now, endurance conditioning, if you're going to sit there and you're going to ride that bike for hours on end, understood, that's good. But you got to understand there's different levels of endurance and different levels of conditioning that you're going to want to be in, and you're definitely going to want to be well-rounded. Obviously the burpees are going to help out with that kind of burst energy and being able to sustain something within like 1 minute to 5 minutes. Believe it or not, it'll carry over to that. Mainly like your ATP kind of environments. And then with the bike is going to be anything past that 5 minutes, that 5 minute mark of like a good 80% output or so forth. So there's that. I'm going to hit some shoulders directly after this. I've gone around today again and picked up some more stuff in order to kind of, yesterday was kind of the crashing down of me realizing that I'm going to be stuck indoors, especially for my workouts. Not necessarily just stuck indoors forever, but stuck indoors for my workouts in my place. So I went out and I grabbed a few more objects in order to kind of make sure my workouts are going to be something that I can look forward to, that I'm going to get the full gambit, the full spectrum of range of motion. The only thing I'm really missing out on is like the squats. And I could probably with my dumbbells or whatever, do some goblet squats, do some overhead squats or some front squats. I really wish I had a bar and a platform here though, honestly. For those of you guys that don't follow Donovan Sharp, I'm insanely jealous of his gym setup that he has right now. He is going to hopefully continue to make some gains, even bigger gains than what I'm going to be able to get during this time frame. But who knows? Maybe this is what I needed. Maybe I just needed to work on bands and lighter weights. We'll see. Focus on muscle contraction rather than going in the gym and, trying to get big again and all that other shit. So who knows? Anyway, like I said, tremendous show today, guys. I saw a fucking silly article online, and obviously within the men's community that I run, the WarTribe, we've had quite a few discussions as to what's going on with feminism now due to this pandemic is the word and the phrase that I'm going to use today. Instead of talking about the actual beer flu, which I think is another great phrase to be using to mask the censorship of this channel, although I do believe already the damage has been done. So no big deal there. We got quite a few people in the chat, like I said, and in traditional fashion, I'm going to go ahead and go to my channel as well and hit the like button also, because I need every fucking like possible at this moment. Poopy pants. Cha. Holy shit, 14 likes already, guys. I'm very, very happy. Very happy that whatever, that you guys are up in here. Holy fuck, what's going on here? Nice. Lots of comments lately. That makes me happy, as we know. Comments after the show always make me happy to wake up to. Robert Frank for president. Is there anything in particular that Robert Frank has done recently? I saw him go off on the whole transgender thing, or not transgender, but the drag queen story hour. Drag queen was like stripping for this like 6-year-old girl. That was ridiculous. But I do like me some what's it called? Some Robert Frank. We got Philip Franklin in the house. I'm the 9. Brent Caldwell, Matt W, JJ, obviously. Who else? Game Warden, the Gun, Max, Finch Hatton, Rational MGTOW. Very nice to see you in here as well. Make sure you hit the like button. Eric L, Timius, and that's about it. Well, we got 21 people watching live at this current time. So you guys are watching live. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat to say what's up. Let me know how your quarantine is going. If you guys are not aware, I live in the state of fucking California, and holy shit. Do I have some stories to tell about that one so far? God damn, I am not a happy camper. But it's to be expected. Every single fucking time the state of California finds out you have money, they always steal it. Honestly, they fucking steal it. We literally here in California live in no shit socialism. We get taxed at a rate of about 64% if you calculate all the taxes put in. Anyway, I filed my taxes for the first time in 4 years this year. And I had a tax return of about 48. No, was it 4,800? No, 3,800. Right. Yeah. Just about $4,000, from my job that I worked last year. And, I got what, 2,300 back from federal, and then I got 1,400 back from state. And of course they seized my money. The state seized my money, saying that I owe them somehow, some way for something. So had to call up collections today and ask them what the fuck was going on. It goes back to a fucking ticket that I got back like literally 5 years ago that I actually paid a lawyer to fight this ticket, and everything turned out to be okay. And of course, their system did not recognize the fact that there was any type of settlement on that. What's it called? And they're keeping my money. So, California, here is to your demise during this fucking time frame. You are a fucking just clown show of a fucking state. You're a clown show of a government. You are awful, 100%. To like, no kid. Like, I'm not trying to lie to you guys when I say this. Like, these people are literal thieves. Like, people go into positions of power to steal money from people and just sell out America. So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here in the state. I've been trying to move out. It's hard. Holy fuck, is it hard to fucking move out of the state though? Holy shit. You got to save up a bunch of money in order to move. It's crazy. So there's that. And then Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, yesterday just declared that all non-essential businesses be closed down. And by non-essential, it's like grocery stores, restaurants, medical type stuff, and a whole bunch of other things. So everything else is closed down, which includes gyms and spas and all sorts of other shit. So people have to shelter in place here in the state of California. What's his name in the chat already said something about it. Nationwide martial law may be enacted Monday. We will see about that. But yes, we are. The pot is boiling, gents. The pot is boiling for sure. people are probably going to say, Corey, why the fuck didn't you get out of California? Like I said, it's insanely difficult. Like, you got to obviously save up a whole bunch of money. Credit is an issue at that point in time as well. Although, like I said, my credit score is now pretty good, except for the fact that it has a BK on there because I had to file bankruptcy after closing my business down. And that actually affects me tremendously, which I also consider to be absolutely 100% unconstitutional, mind you. I know I'm going all over the place right now, but I'm just fucking letting you know, like, these are some fucking things that are absolutely 100% wrong with the country. Bankruptcy is guaranteed to you within the Constitution of the United States, and it's not meant to be something like it's another chance, right? It's another chance. Now, if people fuck up their second chance after they declare bankruptcy and they fuck their credit up again and they stop paying their rent and they stop paying their creditors and all this other stuff, okay, cool, understand, right? But if someone declares bankruptcy, it shouldn't be on, I don't believe, at least, I don't think that it should be on, it shouldn't be documented, and it shouldn't stop people from being able to live a normal life. But yet when you go and you try to rent someplace, like where I live right now, I'm fortunate because he didn't do a credit check. And that's kind of why I have to live in a less than reputable place, so to speak, because I'm living on my own. Last time I used my roommate, he was the one that had a better credit score. So anyway, going way too deep. But what it comes down to with that is it's like, it makes it damn near fucking impossible to do some stuff. Until, like I said, until I start fucking rolling in the dough and I can just whip out my fucking fat stacks and just be like, here's a fucking year. Here's a year up front. Suck my dick. How's that sound? And literally fucking slap them with my fucking tremendous thundercock. So for those of you guys asking, Corey, why haven't you left California? There's the full-blown transparency on that one. And no big deal. Whatever happens, happens. And I'm going to make do with that shit. So let's rock and roll. Also, no regrets on that same point. I had a business. Like I said, I had a brick and mortar CrossFit gym prior to this, and had some people embezzle some money. And then I personally had some, issues, mental health issues on top of physical issues. So I had to close down pretty much immediately. And that just fucking devastated my finances. So had to file bankruptcy, declared bankruptcy, filed it, got free and clear, and then rebuilt since then. So it's been about a year and a half since that whole thing occurred. And I'm kicking ass, believe it or not, as far as getting my shit back together. Up to that point, holy shit, at that point in time too, my credit score was like at 820. I never missed a payment, fucking paid everything off on time, like was kicking ass. And then just had that fucking happen. Just had literally like 6 months, and my credit score was below a 600 while I was going through all that. So pretty difficult shit. No big deal on that one. But that's what's going on in the state of California right now. What does that mean? It probably means, like, right now the pot is starting to boil. Pretty soon they are going to move in the National Guard, and probably, I mean, fuck, how are you going to, just the National Guard in the state of California, I don't think it's going to be able to do it. So they're going to have to import some help. I hope to God we don't see any fucking blue helmets. That would be fucking devastating. What else? So there's that. All sorts of crazy shit's going through my head as far as the scenario is concerned. So we'll see. Anyway, let me scroll back up. Robert Frank for president. Women in the health food store were ordering everybody to sanitize and maintain space. Only 6 allowed at the time. Stupid. Whatever. The virus is a psyop targeting women to turn into the crazies. Ooh, I got a good story for you guys too right now. It's not just women. It's also effeminate liberal men. I had to go and get some crickets for my spider, who is probably going to die during this because I'm not going to keep going out to get crickets and wait in lines and all this other stuff to get him. So rest in peace, Tarantino. Future, he's still alive right now. And so there's a guy that was behind me, and I think he was either British or Aussie. I couldn't tell. But he was a scientist. He did not look very healthy, mind you. Total dad bod, and he was kind of like manic in a way, just from his behavior. I could tell. Anyway, so we start talking. I'm just joking around about some things with this whole deal, and I'm like, this is kind of silly that they try not to fill the store up with people, but instead they make us stand in lines like right next to each other, practically outside of the store. I was like, what's worse? And he's like, oh no, well, that's not really the case. And he's like, I'm a scientist, and just to let you know, like, he starts going into this whole fucking anti-Trump stuff, and he's like, only scientists should really be telling people how things are here. And he's like, I work in a lab, and what you should be doing is you should be getting UVC lights, and everything you fucking touch, or everything that's touched from other people, like cardboard and stainless steel, you should be putting in the UVC light for 5 minutes, because that's actually going to kill everything, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, like, in my mind, I'm sitting here, keeping the peace kind of deal, and just like nodding my head, like, please do go on and continue to make yourself look like a fucking lunatic, which he was acting kind of like a lunatic. And he just starts going on. He's like showing me charts on his phone. He's like, oh, this is how long it lives on this surface and how long it lives on this surface and all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, like, chill the fuck out. Right? Like, you're going crazy. And this is another thing that I've kind of noticed about people that work in labs and like in the healthcare sector. And of course, mainly most of these people are women. They're obsessed with hand sanitizer. They're obsessed with like cleaning everything. They're obsessed with germs and doing XYZ. It's like, and I know there's probably a few people in here that, use fucking hand sanitizer a lot and all this other stuff. I personally don't believe in it. As a matter of fact, Eddie Bravo posted up a clip the other day of George Carlin. Let me see if I can pull this up, because it was fucking hilarious. George Carlin germs. Oh, yeah, buddy. Howie.
Now is a completely neurotic population obsessed with security and safety and crime and drugs and cleanliness and hygiene and germs. There's another thing, germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu. And Americans they panic easily. So now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. It's true. It's true. It's true. Yeah. Well, they don't want you to get an infection. Then you can see their point. Wouldn't want some guy to go to hell and be sick. It would take a lot of the sportsmanship out of the whole execution. Fear of germs. Why, these fucking pussies. They can't even get a decent hamburger anymore. They cook the shit out of everything now because everybody's afraid of food poisoning. Hey, where's your sense of adventure? Take a fucking chance, will you? You know how many people die in this country from food poisoning every year? 9,000. That's all. It's a minor risk. Take a fucking chance, bunch of goddamn pussies. Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So listen. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs. What are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. Now, let me tell you a true story about immunization, okay? When I was a little boy in New York City in the 1940s, we swam in the Hudson River, and it was filled with raw sewage, okay? We swam in raw sewage, to cool off. And at that time, time, the big fear was polio. Thousands of kids died from polio every year. But you know something? In my neighborhood, no one ever got polio. No one ever. You know why? Because we swam in raw sewage. It strengthened our immune systems. The polio never had a prayer. We were tempered in raw shit. So personally, I never take any special precautions against germs. I don't shy away from people who sneeze and cough. I don't wipe off the telephone. I don't cover the toilet seat. And if I drop food on the floor, I pick it up and eat it.
Hell yeah.
I eat it.
Every time.
Even if I'm at a sidewalk cafe in Calcutta, the poor section, on New Year's morning during a soccer riot. And you know something? In spite of all that so-called risky behavior, I never get infections. I don't get them. I don't get colds. I don't get flu. I don't get headaches. I don't get upset stomach. And you know why? Because I got a good, strong immune system, and it gets a lot of practice. My immune system is equipped with the biological equivalent of fully automatic military assault rifles with night vision and laser scopes. And we have recently acquired phosphorus grenades, cluster bombs, and anti-personnel fragmentation mines. All right.
I'll probably get demonetized for this one, but who cares? It's fine. Bro, that is exactly how I operate stuff. Honestly, like I'm being real with you guys. And I've kind of always lived this way. And this is, you know, I hate to always fucking pitch my book, but I talk about this. I talk about the bubble wrapping of society. When you live in a feminine society, women always err on the side of chaos. They really do. And they create demons out of fucking thin air. They always have something to be fucking stressed out about, worried about. They're always nitpicking and fucking trying to like pick some kind of new fucking thing to like promote and all this other stuff. You watch a woman with her kids at the fucking playground. Everything's got to be, you know, pristine so as to not hurt their kids. Their kids sitting there fucking eating grass and eating dirt and got dirt all over their hands. And what are they doing? They're like, no, don't do that. It's like, no, eat that fucking dirt. Eat the dirt. Like there's a reason why we do it. Guys, our civilization, honestly, the way that we've operated has only been around for what, maybe 100 years max, where we have all these disinfectants and all this other stuff. Before that, we were part of the ecosystem, right? Our bodies were constantly working and doing all this other stuff. Maybe that's why we're far leaner than we are today, on top of the fact that we didn't overindulge in fucking foods. But we are a part of the fucking world, believe it or not, and we are impacted heavily by our environment. And if you sit there and you use these fucking disinfectants day in and day out over and over and over again, you're killing stuff that your body needs in order to build immunities up, right? And hey, this is how I think. Maybe this is the fucking perfect storm right now for people to fucking learn this lesson or to be decimated, so to speak, or hopefully more than decimated. I'll tell you another story. So I was obviously in Afghanistan. I was on the front lines in Afghanistan. Afghanistan, guys, is literally it's old as dirt is the best way to say. It is literally still trapped like in like the early thousands or maybe earlier. Of course, yeah, they got some technologies, but other than that, they are still operating based off of like their type of civilization of building dirt huts, essentially, that they've probably built for thousands and thousands of years. And the crazy part is these motherfuckers live with their animals. They live with, like, they don't have a barn that's like 200 yards away and all the hay and all that other stuff. Like, no, their animals are inside the compound with them. And most of the time the animals will be roaming in their house throughout the day and all this other stuff. Chickens, cows, goats, and so forth. There's cow piss and shit everywhere. There's goat piss and shit everywhere. Chicken shit and piss everywhere. Like no lie. These people, they walk around mostly without shoes and they're fucking dirty and they still survive. Now, when I'm over there, guess what? There's times where we would go out on patrol and a dust storm would move in or something like that. Or we were out on a long range patrol and we had to stay in these compounds. Like usually they'd obviously be empty compounds or whatnot. But still like littered with fucking camel shit, goat shit, cow shit, all this other stuff all over the place. Piss and shit. You could smell it everywhere. And guess where we had to sleep? Guess where we had to lay? Right there. right there in the fucking dirt on that piss and shit. Like believe it or not, you had to. That's how we had to be. And it was such a fucking strange dichotomy to be that way, to live that way. And it's like, I'm not saying to live in complete and utter filth. I'm not saying that. But as far as that was concerned, that was insanely helpful for being able to like build character, right? And kind of change your perspective on a few things and understand like, hey, you can survive. You can survive this way. So that's how George Carlin finished that whole thing, that whole bit. He talks about not washing his hands after he takes a shit. He's like, you know when I fucking wash my hands after I take a shit? If I fucking shit on my hands. Other than that, I'm good. So all like being fucking fully real here with that stuff, guys. Like that is my personal take on this whole thing. Like I was sitting there, I was walking around, I went to Target, I went to Home Depot today, and I went to the fucking reptile store and all this other shit. And, you know, there's a part of me, like this guy behind me, he's like, don't lean on surfaces, don't touch surfaces, disinfect after you do all this shit. It's like, dude, your paranoia, your fear of things, like especially things you can't really control, that's going to fucking kill you faster than this shit is, honestly. It's like, just fucking live life, trust that you're fucking strong enough to be able to handle this, right? Get it in your fucking mind that you're going to survive. That's number one. I talk about that in my first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. Like, have the belief that you're going to survive. Have that belief. And that's going to change so many different things, honestly. It's a will to live. So that's where I'm at with that, honestly. We got Shadow in the chat. Ricardo Rivas, the Gunt is now here. Young Lions Perspective. Eric L, I believe, already said what's up. And I'm like, way, what's it called? I left San Diego in 2010. My sister just left last year. It just gets worse every year in Cali. Yep, I hear you. I tried to make the jump out of Cali back in 07, 08 to Nevada. 2 coal-fired power plants over a course of 5 years were on slate to be built. Harry Reid of Nevada killed them to save the planet. Don't forget you have to pay Cali state taxes 6 months after you leave. Oh my God, dude. Ugh, this place is a black hole. They like that song Hotel California, honestly, like it summarizes living in California for sure. Yeah, martial law is not ideal. I feel you on that one. Tarantino is on the carnivore diet. He's eating crickets. Unfortunately, that's all he can eat. Oh, this shit fucking. The beer flu is a boomer remover. Absolutely. Yeah, too bad, huh? Carlin was a fucking, oh man, he was just a genius. Big fan of him. The funny thing is he's not really like, how can I explain it? He's actually more of a philosopher than he is a comedian. He's able to break down things that are wrong in society, but deliver it in such a comedic way. That's his true genius. I've been swimming in shit-filled creeks. I've always been good. Good for you. The Indians in Mexico live and eat off the land. They don't know what cancer is because everything is natural. Good stuff. Mental outlook trumps everything. My grandpa survived the Korean War, 3 heart attacks, 2 strokes, and is still kicking it. He's always lived unhealthy, but his motto is never give up. That's how my grandmother was too. I considered my grandmother to just be full of piss and vinegar, like straight up. She was just this old, crude, fucking bitter. Seriously, like I know these all sound fucking terrible, but I mean that's kind of how she was. She just had this fire in her fucking veins. It's like, I'm not quitting. And that's kind of like that. I mean, that's kind of the fucking motto, I believe, too, just like what Eric L's talking about. Absolutely. So that was my day up to this point, honestly, dealing with all that shit. And those are some of my belief systems. If I offend you, then check yourself because it's not me. I feel good right now. Philip Franklin is talking about what's it called? 18 months. That's kind of the what's it called? I know Stefan Molyneux did a show yesterday talking about being prepped for 18 months. That's some of the guidance that's coming out as well. unfortunately, I don't think that I can manage that one. Honestly, we'll see. I'll have to come up with some clever ways of doing those things, but who knows? Yeah, that's scary. 18 months. We'll see what happens. Either way, though, like I said, I hate to be Mr. fucking positive mental outlook here and be like, oh guys, just have a positive mental outlook on this stuff. But for me personally, I have a pretty positive outlook, although it is quite sad. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, knowing that I'm going to be kind of like locked into my room and not have a lot of things to do. Like, the gym and jujitsu really fucking crushed me. I sat like yesterday for sure. I was definitely quite sad. Now I'm starting to come around to it now that I'm starting to create a better plan. But yeah, that's about it, man, honestly. So there's that. There is that. 25 people are currently watching live. Crazy. I still feel, obviously, I'm being throttled like no one's fucking business with 22 likes. Not too terrible. What did I see here? I feel like someone said something about burpees and kettlebell swings. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. It's crazy because I'm looking at YouTube and I feel like I see all YouTube's chats, and then I go over here and there's some things that I see missing. So that's what I was just scrolling around about. Being that scared shows how pathetic some people are. Absolutely. Yep. Every day from here on out. That's kind of how it's going to have to be. You guys know what time I show up at Monday through Friday now at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when I'm on live. So, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Next thing is also I've just uploaded a few new things onto my Patreon, and I wouldn't say I'm changing my Patreon up a bit, but for the top $10 tier, I'm pretty much just going on there and talking about all sorts of different stuff that pertain to obviously masculinity and things that I can't talk about here on YouTube. So if you kind of want to hear a more uncensored version, even though I do quite well of not censoring myself, I go full like uncensored on Patreon. I'll probably get kicked off of there too, but no big deal. Like, I tell my stories about girls that I hooked up with recently and a few other things. And I'm probably going to talk more and more about different stuff that I feel men need to hear. And where I can't really go into the full-blown details like I can, or I go into the details there like I cannot here on YouTube. So, oh shoot. All right. Put on Twitter. Roberto. No, I want to search something. Boy, explore Roberto. Thank you. 7 hours ago. Goodbye, Gaines. All righty.
They're public gathering places that hold up. Just got word that just got word.
Let's put a shot, boy.
That New Jersey, along with other states, are now closing schools, bars, clubs, restaurants, movie theaters, other public gathering places that hold over 50 people, which I get it. You're trying to stop a virus that you're never, ever going to stop. It is spreading way too rapidly, and there ain't nothing you can fucking do about it right now. It's just the way it is. But now today is where they done fucked up. Now they are closing the gyms at 8 p.m. tonight until further notice, which fucks a lot of shit up, including my fucking games and your fucking games. All because of this virus, which at this point, 100 million people are going to get. It is a fucking fact, Jack. Put it in the bag. And guess what? 99.9 million people are going to get fucking better. It's the fucking flu. Being insensitive, Robert Frank, people are going to die. They're weak. I've been preaching for years to be jacked, tan, juicy as fuck. That's how you survive. The strong survive, the weak fucking die. Close my gym. I'm gonna close your casket. This got word, Danny.
Oh man, that's solid. And I share his sentiments. I really do. What fucking garbage. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm fucking sad. Even though I come up on here and I got a chipper smile and all this other shit, like I'm fucking sad, man. This is terrible. It really makes me sad that I can't go about doing my deal. And continue to lift. I was on a good stride there. I felt fucking great. Body's looking fucking phenomenal. Like I said, I'm going to do my best here. I really am going to do my best, but god damn, what a fucking pain in my dick hole, honestly. I heard a story about Robert Frank recently too, that he was working a corporate job and he was doing all this stuff and he became popular. And then his corporate job pulled him in and was like, hey, you're kind of going to have to start toning yourself down on whatever, because you don't represent our values based off of this. And like he pushed back for quite some time up until the point that he started to make it on his own. And then he just fucking quit his job. And that's kind of what he does now. So I can respect that dude hardcore. I watched him work out with Dan Bilzerian in some video recently too. Apparently he doesn't do legs, which I thought was hilarious. So I'd love to work out with him. I'd love to work out with Dan too. I think it would be fun. Oh, that would be a fucking dream, huh? Fucking if Dan Bilzerian called me up and was like, hey bro, fucking come work out with me. I'd be like, all right, I'm fucking there, dude. Can I move all my shit in? Fucking set up camp here. I'll be your personal trainer or some shit. I don't know. That'd be fucking epic though. A man can dream, right? Dude, shut up. Stop emailing me shit about this goddamn, what's it called? Yeah, no, Jim, this effing sucks. Absolutely. Arif, yeah. Talking about masculinity really irritates my blue pill male friends. It's again, what it all comes down to is when you talk about this type of stuff, they've bought into the blue pill ideal of what that sexual strategy encompasses, and they think that you're supposed to suck up to women and be nice, and that's how you get to have sex with them. So it's obviously quite retarded. It doesn't work, as we all see, and it's just like it's pussy begging. So when you talk about this stuff, it's like you're literally attacking their deepest beliefs on how they're supposed to get pussy. So that's where a lot of that shit comes in. Exactly. Legs are like girlfriends. I neglect them and they go away. I'm fortunate enough, honestly, that my legs are well, I shouldn't say just genetically, but I've put in so much work over the years for my legs that they're practically here to stay. So I'm not too concerned about that. That's kind of, I mean, but I do work them out quite a bit. That guy should meet up with Hollywood Hot Dude and record it. I've never seen Hollywood Hot Dude. I'm going to have to take a look at this guy afterwards. Oh. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff on this shit. Good comments so far today. I'm still saddened by the fact that, like I said, around this time, I'm usually looking at 50 plus people in the fucking chat while watching live. And now, like, wow, like honestly, because of this throttle back, I've lost about half of my viewership. If you look at the numbers, it's pretty fucking wild. That's how gnarly I got throttled back. Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Oh, so I'm going to crush some shoulders right after this. I got some ideas of what I'm going to fucking do. I got some ideas how I'm going to set up my little fucking studio to rock and roll as well. And then I'm just going to get fucking swifty with it too. Try a few different things, add a few different things in there. Ooh, let's talk about this too, guys, because this is kind of what I talked about in my Patreon, but I'll tell you another thing. So like I said, about 3 or 4 days ago, I got my bathmate in the mail. For those of you guys that don't know what a bathmate is, it's a little contraption that you put on your little Richard, and it helps out with a variety of different things. If you're looking for it to grow, it actually does help it grow. If you're looking for boner health, which was my main reason to purchase, on top of the fact I was like, you know what? Hey, if I could get bigger, why not? And I've been using it for the last 3 days after my my workout. I'm going to fucking pop that puppy on in the shower as well and let that thing go. And holy crap, I can definitely notice a big difference already. Not in growth, I'm not going to lie. Although when I have it on, when it's pumped and fully pumping all the blood to it, I've already seen a half an inch difference from the day I started using it. This is only when the suction thing is on. I'm not saying I've seen any actual gains with erection size other than like a nice, healthy boner. I've been getting a lot more, randoms, which I'm very happy about. I enjoy that. That means you got good blood flow. I feel like a fucking kid again. And that's really what I'm looking for, honestly. And it just looks like a meaty little bastard right now, like just a fucking angry motherfucker. So I know it might sound a little bit counterproductive that during a essentially a quarantine to be focusing on something like that. I say, why not? So I'm pretty happy about that. I go into a lot more detail though in my Patreon. I did a Patreon conversation about that, little podcast on that yesterday that I posted on my Patreon. If you guys are interested in becoming patrons, do go to my Patreon. It is what is it? Yeah. Patreon.com. Is that /? Yeah, /. I always mix those up. A God Amongst Men. I'll post that in the chat right now. Boom. Feel free to become a patron. I'm going to be posting up a lot more there, especially since the fucking dictators now here at YouTube are throttling me back. I don't want to censor myself, and I want to talk. I have more topics, and now I have more time to rock and roll that way. So, yep. I'm 52, and I'm always getting randoms. Young guys, take care of yourselves. I enjoy the randoms. Like I said, it like, even though some people consider it to be embarrassing, I'm like, fuck that. This is great. Because for some time I lost the randoms. And it's like, man, I don't want this to happen in my life. I don't. I want to I want to still be fucking charging hard up until the day I die. Honestly. So sexual health is imperative. You know, it's so funny. The conversation can always be had for women. Women are lauded in society for taking care of themselves down there and all this other stuff and taking care of their sexual health. But yet there's really not a lot of conversations out there for men to take care of themselves. Chris from Good Looking Loser is who I checked out before purchasing my bathmate. And he does a pretty gnarly, what's it called? I guess some pretty gnarly research into how and why it works on top of showing some photos. I know that sounds insanely gay, but it's for scientific purposes. So, you know, whatever. So do look into something like that, guys. I'm a huge fan. On top of another thing that I've been rocking and rolling, not every day, but you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, is stacking some maca and yohimba into my stack. And I definitely feel as though blood flow, the charge, all this other stuff is there. So I enjoy that tremendously. If you guys aren't into anything like that up to this point, excuse me, try it out. Give it a whirl. Yeah. Oh, yeah, JJ, I wanted to tell you that I watched Rollerball yesterday. As a matter of fact, I think I'm still finishing it up. I don't think I've finished watching it entirely. Actually, not a bad movie. Not a bad movie at all. I'm enjoying it so far. So good recommendation. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some direct parallels to Now and that movie. So aside from the whole rollerball thing. So good recommendation there. Good stuff. Would you do an episode elaborating your experiences with psychedelics. Absolutely. Yeah, I like it. I will definitely do that. Any other recommendations for show topics, please send them my way. If you want to do it on the side as well, so that I can actually have it documented, please do email me at agodofmen@gmail.com. This can go for either show topics or what you'd like to hear me talk about more on my Patreon as well. So please do shoot me some emails with topics that you want to hear more about. Please and thank you. It's an old one, but it's pretty good. Yeah, I agree. Normally, I don't like older movies, but this one was well done. Very pleased with it thus far. Cool. Let's get on topic. So what brought up this whole thing for today's topic is essentially this. Well, number one, a good amount of discussion within my men's community, the WarTribe, where we were discussing this exact scenario of how feminism is essentially being tamped down right now because of this whole thing. Another thing that I saw too as well. Yep. Arginine is really good. Throw in L-arginine and then also do L-citrulline. L-citrulline will help out. It's anytime you take arginine, you want to take citrulline as well. It's an amazing stack. Yeah, they're throttling everyone. John has had like a mini mental breakdown on stream today. That's kind of funny. Hey bud, just thought I'd drop in since I haven't in a while. Read my net one. I can't fit it all. Read my net one? I can't fit it all in one message. Read my net one. Your next one. I'm guessing you're trying to say. Yeah, next one. Okay, cool. I'm standing by. But yep, gotcha. I read between the lines there. Good stuff. What was I talking about? Well, I was talking about this whole topic here. Oh yeah. So I'm watching, this is going to sound insanely stupid, but I hopped on TikTok. I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of create a space for what I talk about on TikTok. And then I might even do some like videos of, I don't know exactly what I'm going to try to do on TikTok, but the cool thing about TikTok right now is it's still kind of new and you have a little bit more ability to rise to the top if you put out quality content. The thing is I had to watch first to see what type of content. It's like, I don't fit in any of those categories. So it's kind of weird. Anyway, but I've watched TikTok and the videos are actually kind of funny and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but I've been seeing a whole lot of videos lately of parents, mainly mothers, who are showing videos of their children doing terrible things. And then their captions are saying things like, when does school, when can these kids go back to school? Or when is school back in session? Or when can I go back to work? And it was just insane to watch now these women that have these kids that are absolute tyrants. They're recording their kids misbehaving. They're not stopping them. They're not doing anything, but then they're recording it and putting it on TikTok for the lulz. And then they're saying things like, when can I go back to work? Or when can these terrors go back to school? It's like, this is absolute absurdity that these women who've had children have essentially admitted to, and what they've done is turn their kids over to the state for the state to be the babysitters of their children. Worse yet, these mothers have children that misbehave and they consider them to be terrors. That is not a motherly attribute to consider your children to be terrors. It means that there is not much of a pair bonding going on and that they've lost all semblance of motherhood. Now, what does that mean, right? There's a difference between being a mom, which is someone who just gives birth to a child, and someone who's a mother, who actually uses motherly skills, motherly traits, motherly actions to raise their children. That is what it means to mother, right? To be a mother, not just be a mom, not just have your children, go back to work, put your kids in fucking daycare, and then fucking take photos with them at night when you're drinking your fucking wine and they're cuddled up next to you and you're fucking wearing your Uggs boots and pretending to be mom of the fucking year. This whole society of these women going to work, coming home, and then just ordering their kids on what to do and thinking that their kids should just be these fucking perfect little pristine angels is another sign of feminism decaying right now. These women are learning very rapidly that I don't know if they're learning the lesson, but they're seeing the symptoms of the fact that they have failed to become mothers. And this is essentially what feminism has taught them. Feminism has taught women, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can live this American dream of living in this nice house, marrying this guy, buying all this other stuff, and then working in the corporate world and rising in the corporate ladder. Meanwhile, the fact of the matter is, these women are neglecting their children. These children do not look at their parents as parents any longer. They don't respect them as authority figures. And due to fucking state-sponsored indoctrination of being pretty much raised by one person that has to fucking raise like 40 other fucking heathens. It's literally Lord of the Flies in these fucking schoolrooms, right? These kids are being raised by other kids, essentially. These kids have no fucking boundaries, right? They have no boundaries placed on them. They have no fucking teaching of them. And here's the other thing too. Why do kids act out? What's going on here? Why are these kids acting fucking crazy? Well, first off, they're probably pumped full of fucking sugar. They probably get iPads thrown in front of them. They probably have all these fucking dopamine triggers hitting them constantly. Next thing is this, abandonment. And this is where and I've done the research on this stuff. Abandonment for sure. Mothers who probably didn't breastfeed and mothers who just drop their kids off in the morning at fucking daycare and then say, see you fucking later. In a kid's mind, that is through and through abandonment. And they show study after study that people and boys that have ADHD, it's actually due to a deeply seated version of abandonment. They create a hyperactive disorder because their brain creates a hyperactivity because of the fact that they're constantly searching their environment for their parents. Because essentially what happens is when these kids get dropped off at daycare, there's something that triggers this primal side of us deep down in our subconscious that our parents have died. Because why else would they be neglecting us? Why else would they be dropping us off with other people? That our parents have died or they have abandoned us for good. This is not a good model for raising the next generations in society. It's why we have a snowflake generation right now. It's also why we had boomers who are obsessed with fucking pillaging and materialism and all this other stuff. And now look where they're at, right? Now look where they're at. Like, you can draw the correlations how you see fit. I draw the correlations in my book, Purging Feminism. I blame a lot of society's ills on feminism in this book. So please do, if it's something that you want to hear a little bit more about, please do purchase my book. I know I kind of feel like a shill today, but I don't give a fuck. I have amazing products. You should be consuming these things and leaving reviews and comments. A Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism. There we go. I got the thing backwards. It's not just about feminism. It's also about purging feminism from you as a person, the conditioning of feminism in order to be a more masculine man and to create a better society. But a lot of these things can be relayed over to this idea of what feminism has taught people. Anyway, yes, thank you. Children are just lottery tickets to women. They're just I call it a steady paycheck. That's what it is. It's passive income. Women have used their pussies now in order to make money. It's fucking terrible. Terrible. Use their kids, especially, to make money. The next thing that brought it up is I saw this article from The Atlantic. And let's go over this, what's it called? Article. Is the coronavirus a disaster for feminism? The answer to that is obviously yes. Enough already. When people try to be cheerful about social distancing and working from home, noting that William Shakespeare and Isaac Newton did some of their best work while England was ravaged by the plague, there's an obvious response. Neither of them had child care responsibilities. Look at this shit, guys. First off, who's this written by? Helen Lewis. Yep. All right. You always got to look at who the writer is, guys, to understand what their fucking motives are and what their chief complaint is going to be. All right. Let's scroll back down. Shakespeare spent most of his career in London, where the theaters were, while his family lived in Stratford up in Avon during the time of the plague. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I don't care. For those with caring responsibilities, an infectious disease outbreak is unlikely to give them time to write King Lear or develop a theory of optics. The pandemic magnifies all the existing inequalities, even as politicians insist that this is not the time to talk about anything other than the immediate crisis. Working from home in a white-collar job is easier. Employees with salaries and benefits will be better protected. Self-isolation is less taxing in a spacious house than a cramped apartment. But one of the most striking effects of the coronavirus will be to send many couples back to the 1950s. Across the world, women's independence will be a silent victim of the pandemic. Purely as a physical illness, the coronavirus appears to affect women less severely. But in the past few days, the conversation about the pandemic has broadened. We are not just living through a public health crisis, but an economic one. As much of normal life is suspended for 3 months or more, job losses are inevitable. At the time, school closures and household isolation are moving the work of caring for children from the paid economy, nursery schools, babysitters, to the unpaid one. The coronavirus smashes up the bargain that so many dual earner couples have made in the developed world. We can both work because someone else is looking after our children. Instead, couples will have to decide which one of them takes the hit. Many stories of arrogance are related to this pandemic. Among the most exasperating is the West's failure to learn from history. Blah, 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 blah. At an individual level, the choices of many couples over the next few months will make perfect economic sense. What do pandemic patients need looking after? Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Blah, 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 blah. Despite the mass entry of women into the workforce during the 20th century, the phenomenon of the second shift still exists across the world. Women, including those with jobs, do more housework and have less leisure time than their male partners. Even memes about panic buying acknowledge that household tasks such as food shopping are primarily shouldered by women. I'm not afraid of COVID-19, but what is scary is the lack of common sense people have, reads one of the most popular tweets about the coronavirus crisis. I'm scared for people who actually need to go to the store and feed their families. But Susan and Karen stocked up for 30 years. The joke only works because Susan and Karen, standing names for suburban moms, are understood to be responsible for household management rather than, say, Mike and Steve. Look around you and you see couples already making tough decisions on how to divide the extra unpaid labor. When I called Wenham, she was self-isolating with 2 small children. She and her husband were alternating between 2-hour shifts of childcare and paid work. The one solution for others, the division will run along older lines. Dual income couples might suddenly find themselves living like their grandparents, one homemaker and one breadwinner. My spouse is a physician in the emergency department, is actively treating corona patients. We made the difficult decision for him to isolate and move into our garage apartment for the foreseeable future as he continues to treat patients. That's funny. As I attempt to homeschool my kids alone with a new baby who screams if she isn't held, I'm worried about the health of my spouse and my family. Let's break this down real quick before I continue to fucking read this fucking woman's drivel. Because if you guys aren't aware, she is just literally trying to shirk any level of feminine responsibility. She's trying to shirk any fucking idea that she is a mother. She looks at her children as terrors, like I said earlier. Oh my God, she has a child that requires being held. Oh my God, now I have to stand in for the teacher and I have to actually fucking teach my kids things. Oh my God, I can't go to the workforce and pretend to be working and then bitch and moan about the AC and fucking sexual harassment and that I don't get paid more. Life was easier at the fucking corporate office because men, fucking white knight idiots, gave me things and filled me with intoxicating peaks and lulls of my emotions. Whereas now I have to be at home and I actually have to be responsible for things and I actually have to do fucking work, like be a goddamn mother. My husband and I, we came up with the game plan that we were just going to dump our kids off on somebody else and let them raise our kids. And now this plan isn't working. So it's the goddamn patriarchy is what this virus is, guys. What a fucking dense bitch. Like, I fucking have to fucking sit there and say this. This woman is a fucking bitch. If you look at it in the context of how I'm using the word, she's a self-centered bitch. I would hate to be her fucking children, honestly, because she is an awful, awful creature. Why is that? Because she's a mom. She had kids just to fucking post a photo, say, oh, let's check this box off. But she did not want to be a mother. She wanted to go work in the corporate fucking world and compete and act like a man. And this is what it all comes down to, is women know that there are traditional gender roles and that these traditional gender roles pay far better dividends when it comes to maintaining a society. But they don't want to ascribe to it. They don't. Why is that? Because the inverse, the opposite of what they're doing right now, they're actually held responsible for their actions. They actually have responsibilities. None of these pretend responsibilities that they get to go around and pretend like they're doing. It's just like what I talk about when I talk about dating these older women on online dating. How do they always lead off? Well, they always lead off with their school that they went to and their position that they have in their job. And it's just an image. That's what women are addicted to. They're addicted to the image. They're addicted to having these titles that kind of just like fill in the blanks that make them seem more important than they really are. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with women. I have. Women don't really do a lot of work. They really don't. They're really good at clerical stuff. I'm not going to lie there. They're pretty good. Like they'll sit there and do a lot of that shit of like ordering and doing a whole bunch of different shit. But as far as like real decision making and all this other stuff, they're really there to like gab and have social hour. They're not really there to do the hard work. This woman talks about that other woman's husband, right? Who is literally a physician and he is working nonstop. And this dude just made the decision that he's going to self-isolate away from her and the kids in the fucking garage. Crazy. But I want you guys to see this. This pandemic, and it's funny because some people, some of the guys in my WarTribe community, they're like, man, it's kind of funny. Everything you talk about in your book right now is kind of coming true. I am a god amongst men, people. I mean, there's a reason why I fucking came up with the nomenclature, and I also wear a goddamn crown on the fucking air every day. Anyway, I welcome it. I welcome this type of stuff, nature coming in and showing us again the natural roles that we are supposed to be in. I welcome it. I really do. I don't care about your fucking silly, stupid ideology because it's not true. And the worst part is you're denying your own nature. These women, like I said, on TikTok, complaining about how terrible their kids are and all this other stuff. It's like, you're a fucking awful bitch. Seriously, you are an awful bitch. Like how? So I saw one, for instance, it was this Irish woman. Her kid got into a fucking thing of white paint, and literally started crawling. Like it had to have been a good hour of work that this kid did to fucking get white paint all over the entire house. What were you doing for that entire hour, Mom? What were you doing? Were you FaceTiming fucking Steve from accounting? Is that what you were doing? Did you maybe go and take a little bath and pull out the fucking shower head, or maybe tap into your fucking underwear drawer and pull out a little fucking vibrational device in order to get your fix with Steve from accounting? And you just left your kid roaming around the house. And then afterwards you're like, oh, let's take a fucking video of this and post it to TikTok. People will get a laugh out of it and not sit here and point the finger at me for being a fucking terrible parent. And then they act like like a 3-year-old is supposed to have the rational mind to not know, or to know that that was a bad thing to do. It's like, no, that's what your job is right then and there, you fucking idiot. You're supposed to be there to start teaching your child the left and right lateral limits of their fucking behavior. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And it's not. The other thing I noticed, this is now women, like I saw a bunch of other videos. Women yell at their fucking kids. They just yell at them. No, hey, stop doing that. That's not what you do. That's bad. It's like they're just reacting with their shrill voice. I just saw a woman, like it was like a fucking 13-month-old kid, and she's yelling at him. Why are you yelling at him? Why? Do some parenting. Have a discussion. I know it's a 13-month-old. But this is how you start to get the practice. Be like, no, we don't do that. And this is why. And explain it, right? We don't do that. No. Come over here. Those aren't toys. Here's a toy. That's not a toy. Good, bad, those kinds of things. Now, I get it. I'm not a fucking parent, but at least I have the fucking wherewithal to understand that you don't just sit there and scream at your kid and have an emotional fucking tirade because you're a shit parent and you're a shit person, right? And that's what you're used to doing with being a feminist, is just reacting with emotions. No. You got to sit back and you got to have some rational thought and realize, yo, that's a 13-month-old baby with a fucking developing brain who is going to try different things and try to get away with doing a whole bunch of different things. And you actually have to parent, mentor, teach, lead. Oh my God. Ooh, responsibility. Oh my God. It's much better to just go to fucking college, drink, do fucking Molly, fuck my professors, fuck Chad on the fucking lacrosse team, fuck Chad on the fucking football team, go to fucking raves all the time, go to fucking ragers, accrue fucking financial debt, go work a job, fuck all the guys in the office, and then settle down, have their kids, and not do fucking anything, and then make them pay and clean up all my goddamn mess. Much easier to do that, but yet still be a protected and victimized class. It's like, you know what, feminism? This goddamn pandemic is teaching you, selfish, entitled bitches, that you ain't shit. That for the last 60, 70, 90 years in our society, you have been treated like goddesses, but are undeserving of the title. And now we can see that you do have a role in society, and it's to raise children and to be their parents. And you've shirked that responsibility. And now nature has come in and has said, guess what? If you guys can't clean this mess up, we're going to do it. So that's where we're at with that, guys. I would love to read the remainder of this whole thing, but I swear to God, I can feel a fucking tumor developing. And, that's what this chick looks like. Yeah, you look like a dumb feminist. Oh, Helen Lewis is a London-based staff writer at The Atlantic and the author of Difficult Women, A History of Feminism in 11 Fights. Good for you, lady. Have fun fighting fucking coronavirus. You fucking retard. God, I hate women like that. Seriously. This is the type of woman that is probably going to think that she could actually fight somebody. I hope so. I really do. Love those types of women. Please, 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 please. Please think you could fight me. That'd be amazing. Scrolling up now. According to CDC statistics, in Canada, 78% of healthcare workers are women. This will be the first time in history women have replaced men on the front lines. Yeah, that's not going to play out too well. Have you seen the video of the woman in China who fucking literally had a goddamn meltdown, was like screaming bloody murder? Yeah, this is why women can't be in combat, and this is why they're not good at fighting. They can't control their emotions. You know what they used to do to men who started freaking out on ships? Right? In quarantines and stuff like that, like in tight spaces, when men would start freaking out, they'd kill them and throw them overboard. You have to cut out the weak links. You can't allow someone to create panic in a small confined space, right? What movie? What was it? It was The Pacific, I believe. I don't know if you guys have seen the miniseries, The Pacific. It was about the Marines fighting in the Pacific. It was a phenomenal miniseries. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are probably going to fucking hate me for this. Band of Brothers was better than Pacific. I hate to say that because it was about the Army Airborne. Band of Brothers was phenomenal. Pacific came out afterwards. But in Pacific, there was a time frame, I believe, where they were getting shelled on one of the islands in Japan, and someone started to freak out, and they just went over there with a shovel and fucking beat them to death. And like that, you couldn't give away your position. He started freaking out in the middle of the night, caused them to start fucking lobbing artillery shells at him, killing more people. It's like, sorry, you cannot do that. You can't do that during a pandemic. You can't do that during close quarter combat. You can't do that when other people's lives are dependent on you. So absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Ooh, the only thing we could salute women for in a long time. Because here's my deal, man. Like I appreciate that. I would salute them if they got there on their own accord. But we've been propping women up for so long, and we've been creating different types of hiring quotas that women have gotten to these places based solely off of those types of things. Yep. Their biology body tells them to have kids, and society media tells them to be feminists and sluts. 100%. 100%. You just described my ex and my kid's mother to a T. She could never grasp that she was an adult. Never. That's why they need a strong man with boundaries that knows how to reinforce boundaries. There's a pandemic of septum piercings. Exactly. Here's a true tell of whether or not a woman is a fucking SJW. And if a guy has one, oh my God. Oh, no, the state is the parent. The mothers are the babysitters. The mothers are the welfare recipients, and the state is the parent. You're absolutely right. Women are paid to sell out their children. It's fucking sad. And their husbands. Pretendemic. I like that. And they are piss poor babysitters. I hope people wake up, learn to know their places, children and parents during the pandemic. And if not, may nature cleanse them from this world. They are all addicted to their careers and goals these days. I'll take a poor, beautiful, and feminine young woman at the gas station over that any day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, I agree there too. I'm all for the total death of the entertainment industry. All for it. Games too. Fuck it. I've wasted so much of my life not taking action because of entertainment games. So if it never comes back, yeah, I think it could be more productive for sure. Hang on one second. Flicking the bean to Steven Accounting. Hell yeah. That's why I was scarce around here for a few days. I had to rescue my kid's son, 15, daughters. Wait, I had to rescue my kids, son, 15, daughters, 14 and 10. My kid's mother discovered teens are a-holes. Wanted me to take the oldest too. All three are devastated. Good. At that age, your kid should be far more influenced by you at 15, 14, and 10. I talk about this a little bit in my book too. Understanding when the father needs to start taking the role in kids' lives, because from 0 to 7 is when the mother has to have the biggest role in a child's life, because that's when the child develops most of its personality, and it needs to be nurtured up to that point. It does. A child needs to be nurtured up to that point. Between 7 to 13 is when there needs to be kind of like a neutral ground, so to speak. Like there needs to be a little bit more of an influence from the father. The father needs to come in and start establishing firm but fair rules, teaching the child that it's not all about them, that they're an individual, kind of teaching them how to interact with society and all these other things. And then at 13, the children need to be completely cut off from the mother. Not like removed, but the mother should have almost zero say in how to raise the children. Why is that? Because, like we've talked about up to this point, the mother has vested interests. Hear me out on this. With boys, she's going to stymie his growth as a man. Why? Because she wants him to remain an Oedipal boy his entire life. She wants him to remain an uninitiated boy, an uninitiated man rather, to remain a boy, so that he will always be the emotional tampon for her, so that she could have someone to latch on to that will always, always, always be around and love his mommy. She doesn't want him introduced to death, because that essentially could possibly mean that he dies. So she's trying to save her interests. The next thing is this. Women are terrible at raising men to become the men that women actually want to have sex with, right? So a woman will constantly at that point in time teach her son to be a good boy and to treat women like gentlemen, knowing full well that she only wants to fuck the bad boys, that mommy only wants to fuck the bad boys, and all other women only want to fuck the bad boys and the alphas. But she'll do it because she thinks that there should be this ideal version of masculinity, and she will fucking train that boy to be that way. And essentially what she's going to do is she's going to train him to become codependent and only attract toxic women into his life that will take advantage of him and never truly make him happy. And this is 100% why. Now, the same thing must happen with daughters, because now at this point in time, there needs to be a boundary set for the daughters. The father needs to fill the role, and he needs to be strong enough of a man to sit there and say, you are now sexually viable. You have 5 years to progress into a woman that is going to be capable of being a mother and a wife. And we need to protect your value as best as possible by ensuring that you do not sleep with men. And I even go so far as to say, and I actually 100% believe in this, I 100% believe in arranged marriages. I believe that the father should be responsible of maintaining his daughter's value, sexual marketplace value, by putting those strict rules on her of remaining her chastity and keeping and maintaining honor for the family name, respect for the father. So where a lot of women, we talked about this the other day with this interracial stuff that I was talking about. Why do these girls that are sexually liberated, these young girls, these young white fucking, what's it called? Not the mud sharks like we were talking about that just strictly go after black guys, but the other girls that dabble in between and all this other stuff. They're doing it because they don't respect their fathers. Why don't they respect their fathers? Well, because the father should have been the one protecting the family name, protecting her sexual value and viability, and then matching and pairing her up with someone that could actually be a good provider and protector. A lot of you guys out there would probably be like, man, that sounds fucking terrible. I myself, and this sounds weird, I wouldn't want my daughter. I would, if I have daughters, right? I will do this. I will do this. I'm not lying to you. And I will find a man who's about 30 years old. I'll go through his finances and I'll make sure he's not some fucking beta cuck. Because after I fucking let her go and marry her off to him, that's hers. Or sorry, that's his. That's his woman. She's no longer my burden. She's no longer anything, right? That's his. And I actually want him to be, I want him to be kind of like me in a way. I want him to be a fucking asshole. I want him to hold and maintain boundaries. I want him to raise up better children, like good children, and make sure that she's a good wife and a good mother first and foremost. Because this is how we maintain a better society. This is how we make sure our genes get promulgated in the best fucking way possible. This is how we ensure that our societies last for longer than what ours is lasting right now and don't decay as fast as they decayed now, right? There needs to be strict rules. There needs to be strict rules. Anyway, that's my thought on it. That's my take on it. We got a $20 super chat. Buy a lap dance. Wait, food. Yeah, food. Good stuff. Thank you very much for the donation. I highly, highly appreciate that. They're the ones panicking about the toilet paper because the pigs take a zillion shits a day from overeating. That's good, man. Once their children grow up into adults, these shitty mothers expect their children to provide and support them. This fulfills the provisioning beta buck side of women's dualistic sexual strategy. Arif, I just talked about it. I know you wrote this in there probably a bit sooner than I said that. Good stuff. I'm glad to see you're on the same page. You see things at a high level, man. I really appreciate that comment. Good stuff. Shell shock is a bitch. Absolutely. It's crazy, huh? I'm enraged a bit today. I'm having flashbacks of my shitty childhood parenting and also observing the shit parenting of modern kids around me by their tatted up, pierced up, skinny, degenerate, or sickly, degenerate parents. Absolutely. Band of Brothers is way better than the Pacific. Read Dick Winter's book on leadership. Yeah, Dick Winters is a fucking tremendous leader. Tremendous leader. I still think of that show, honestly, when I think of like what an ideal officer is. Because we're highly missing out on officers like that in the military today. He was, man, honestly, seriously, like what a great show. All hail the king. Hell yeah, buddy. Good to see you in here. Part of the body resembling or likened to a crown. What? It's a thought apocalypse. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Event 201, a simulation carried out in October last year that envisioned the exact same scenario. Yeah, they deliver this stuff to us and they test all this shit out. honestly. It's kind of funny too, because there was a military, what am I trying to say here? There was like military games or something like that in Wuhan, like a week or two before this virus started to break out there. Just saying. Rarely do I believe in coincidences any longer. Making sons into simps. That's what moms do. Exactly. I'm not knocking tats, but when millennial parents feed their kids shitty food for months just to save up more money for body modifications, I want to cut off their skin. Vain sick fucks. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's these women today, man. They are exactly. That's such a good word. Vain. Their vanity knows no bounds. Bro, I understand completely your point on the subject. Thank you. Fathers let daughters dress however she wants and curious why she's fucking at 14. Exactly. Well, it's because those guys were raised in a feminist view to sexually liberate their daughters, and that's what's noble. And it's like, no, it's just because you're weak and you don't know how to put boundaries on women. That's the fucking true simpage. So then they let their daughter completely destroy their sexual market value, and then they wonder why. Oh man, I grew up with it. Watching my sister do this stuff is the most insane thing I've ever seen happen, honestly. No, it isn't terrible. I agree 100%. I had a pretty good relationship with my 14 daughter until I was zeroed out. Yeah, I feel you, dude. Sorry to hear that, by the way. Very, very sorry. But I believe that probably red pilled you and probably brought you into this space, and now you see clearly. So good stuff. And now it's your job to be a leader and a role model to other men. To show them how to live a better life. So thank you. That's my little like silver lining to that whole thing. So pretty fucking wild. Oh man. That fucking, what's it called? That article lit me on fire, gents. Seeing all these other things like on TikTok also lit me on fire. It's just absolutely insane. It's so funny to see how these women they'll create any type of thing as well to write an article about feminism and how they're being oppressed by certain things. Like, oh, a fucking virus is now oppressing us. They see the writing on the wall. They saw the writing on the wall with Trump. They saw the writing on the wall with all this other stuff. They know that they're getting put back into the household. And they're screaming and crying their way all the way back until they realize soon enough, and until there's going to be a large majority of women, right, that are going to be like, oh my God, this is actually way better. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh my God, this is so much better. But it's definitely the millennial generation that's going to go down kicking and screaming first, mainly because their sexual market value is just fucking terrible and they're single moms and they're never going to get good men again. So I say adios to them. Adios. See you later. I don't really care that much. There's a fresh 18-year-old baking in the oven, meaning sexually, not actually truly in the oven. I don't own an oven, by the way. And that's the way I look at it, is there's always a fresh woman turning 18 every single second. So I'm happy with that. That's exactly what I'm going towards. And that's what I'm going to use. That's what I'm going to pick up. And that's who I'm going to condition to be the mother of my children. And like I said, I'm going to have numerous ones. So we'll just keep on going. Just keep on going and doing that. Anyway, with that said, actually, I'll read this comment real quick and then I'll get going. All our problems can be boiled down to this. I don't want the responsibility. This is what goes through many minds daily in different situations that cause the injustices worldwide. Yeah, absolutely. No worries, my dude. No worries. And like I said, I'm being serious, guys. If you want to hear, or if you have any topic recommendations, if you want to hear or have me elaborate any further on different things, please do email me at agodofmen@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear some ideas. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what you guys want to hear. I just come on here and I just kind of share what goes through my mind. I feel like that's working out pretty well up to this point, but it's kind of nice to have some feedback as well and get that kind of, communication. So do let me know. Email me at agodofmen@gmail.com. As always, do purchase my new book, Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism, only available on Amazon. Check out my Patreon where I talk about a few more different topics and subjects that are a little bit more, let's say, uncensored. And also, if you are looking for a group of men to meet with, chat with, talk with, communicate with that are all red pill and are striving towards bettering their lives, please do join the WarTribe.com right now. So actually, I'll see you guys on Monday. I may or may not go live this weekend. We shall see. But until Monday for sure. If you guys don't have notifications turned on, please do check your notifications bell to be alerted tomorrow if I do decide to go on. So I look forward to your emails, and I look forward to seeing you guys definitely on Monday for sure. So until then, I'll see you guys. Adios.